him live and in living color tonight, the one, the only, Mr. Les Brown. Les, it's so great to have you on the call tonight.
Thank you. It is great to be on the call. Do you hear me well?
I can hear you almost a little.
You say, okay, what about now?
Oh, that's even better. Now let's play.
Okay, let's make this happen, baby.
Absolutely. I'm just so thrilled to have you live on the call. You have such a faithful following of individuals who tell us each and every week how much they love you, how much they appreciate you. But you know what's really impactful, Les, is the fact
What's
that
that?
your words and your message are timeless, that we have new audiences who never knew who you were that have been referred to you on YouTube. They've picked up your books on Amazon. They've tried to catch you live in location, and you've been traveling again. And every single time they say the same thing. This man is amazing. His words saved my life. He helped me through one of the roughest times in my existence. So I just want to publicly celebrate you again. And as you just finished up your birthday month, you are kicking down walls in 2019 and shaking names.
Okay, thank you. Wow, I appreciate that. Thank you so very much. All right, I'm ready to go.
All right, take it away.
Okay, let's do this. I appreciate you so much, and I want to thank Dr. Stacy N.C. Grant, for what she's been doing, and Kareem Ellis for the work that he's been doing to back her up. And I want to thank you for listening. And I've been thinking about this fact that I'm starting off my 75th year on the planet. And I want to thank all of you who've been giving your well wishes for me. And I've been thinking about this part of my life, this chapter of my life. One of the things I noticed, and I said a few weeks ago, that when we do seminars or workshops, very seldom we see people in there that's over 50. And many people retire from experiences that will instigate growth and development. I've seen more people dressed in white flying across country to go to a dance where everybody would dress in white, or go to Chicago and to learn stepping, anything involving entertainment, or go to see a particular group that they love. They're organized and rent a hotel and spend money going and get a good outfit and show up to be a fan, to be in the bleachers or on the front row. And it says a lot about the culture that we live in, that's an entertainment-driven culture. And so the reason that I'm sharing this with you is that even though you enjoy entertainment, there's a part of you that say, hey, I want to spend some time being exposed to a message that can expand my mind beyond my circumstances and the adversities that I'm facing. I want to spend some time being in the ear range of a message that can begin to decode my mind and help me to step out of a life of living average that is racing to the bottom, to begin to step into my greatness, which soaring to new heights. And so congratulations to you, but be aware that you are on a path of the road less traveled by Robert Frost. As Robert Frost talked about, two roads diverge in the yellow wood, and I selected the one less traveled by. That when you are on this path of self-discovery, on this path of discovering the life that is waiting for you to live, that is lonely, that family members and friends and people that you thought would be rooting for you and even partnering with you won't be there. Why? I don't know. I don't know. One of the mysteries of life. It's amazing how people raised in the same family, under the same circumstances, under the same roof, and end up dramatically different. That's fascinating to me. I find that very fascinating. And so as you think about your life right now, what I want you to think about, the next greatest version of yourself, the next greatest version of yourself, the major goal that you're going to achieve this year. And as you think about that, as you think about who you have to be in order for that to become a reality, what radical change must take place in your life in order for that to become something that you are capable of manifesting, the habits that you must let go of and the habits that you must retain and the new habits that you must embrace that will march you in the direction of the goals and the dreams that you hold for yourself. And I want to talk to you about something that people don't talk about much, and that is the power of proximity. The power of proximity. Think about your goals and dreams. One of the most important things that you should do before you do anything else, after your prayer and meditation and visualization, and writing your goals down, and determining who should you count on and who should you count out. One of the most important things that you must do is look around and see who has constant access to you. Who is it that's in your face, that's in your ear? Who is it that's very close to you? It's very important to know that and to ask the next question, what is this proximity? What is this relationship? What is this level of closeness? Is it an asset to me or is it a liability? Is this relationship bringing the best out of me? Is this relationship raising the bar on me? Is this relationship toxic or is it nourishing? Is this relationship helpful to me? Is this the relationship that will hold me accountable, that will keep me on the path that I need to go down in order for me to do what I want to do with my life? I want you to think about that, because none of us make it alone. And I've seen many people who had talents, abilities, and skills that I can share with you that most of the talented and gifted people that I knew when they were here and I was thumbing through my emails and going through my telephone index, and I'm one of those unusual people, even when someone make their transition, I don't delete them out of my telephone. I just haven't been able to do that. I don't know why. It just seems like I'm wiping them out. I don't want to do that. And when I realized those that are gone, what was it about them? They had a lot of talent, a lot of abilities, a lot of skills. But as I looked and I thought about and reflected on their lives, what I noticed that they had in common, those who just lived a mediocre life but had the potential to do so much more, they were not aware of the power of proximity. That when you have relationships, close relationships with people that are not eagles, with people that are not soaring, with people that are not reaching higher, with people that are not dreaming, with people that are not stretching and challenging themselves, that affects you. They did a 26-year study on obesity, and they said that if you communicate with a person in another state, not even just in the state where you are, in the city where you are, in your household, in another state that's obese, you have a high chance of becoming obese yourself by being in communication and being in relationship with that person. Just think about that. That's just dealing with obesity. Now, they haven't even dealt with it in terms of income. I know myself, because I've been practicing the principle of OQP, only quality people. that I made it a point to be around people that I can learn from, people that I can grow from, people who were earning more money than I was earning, so that I could watch them, so that I could study them, so that I could be exposed to them. And a lot of people are living a life of mediocrity because they haven't been exposed to anything else. If you're around people who use profanity all the time, guess what? Pretty soon you do it unconsciously. If you're around people who are not stretching and not challenging themselves, and they spend a lot of time talking about what they saw on television, guess what? It will affect you. And you share notes about what you saw on television or at a sporting event that has nothing to do with you realizing your potential and doing the great work that you were chosen to do out of 400 million sperm. See, most people are impacted by our educational system where we are measured by our ability to memorize facts and figures. I've never had a job where somebody asked me a question about something I learned in history, about who was the third president or any of the questions that we have to memorize to get a passing grade. I've never had that. And we've gone from an economy where that the manufacturers and the major corporations had groomed us for jobs to overnight, it seems like, to an entrepreneurial area where your intelligence and your qualifications are not based upon what you can memorize, but what you bring to the table. It's about what is it that you have, what value do you bring, how you can create the impact that you're indispensable. One of the things I learned a long time ago when I was working in radio, they paid me to be a disc jockey. But in addition to that, I took on the responsibility of becoming the music director. I took on the responsibility of being head of productions and doing commercials. I took on the responsibility of learning to rip the news for the Associated Press and read it. I took on the responsibility of having a talk show. I took on the responsibility of doing editorials and leading demonstrations against police deadly use of force and police brutality and other things of maintaining the detriment of our community. I took all that on and did not get paid for it. Why? Why do they say in the book of life, the greatest among you will be your servant? Because when they fired me, I was able to go from being a disc jockey to being one of the most effective vocal state legislators in the history of Ohio, from the 29th House District. I went away from there because of the skill set and the impact that I had made in the community, that people voted me in against a 22-year incumbent. I got over 26,000 votes to his less than 4,000 votes. That as you develop various dimensions of yourself, that whatever life throws at you, you'll be able to land on your feet. And you discover talents, abilities, and skills that will serve you, when life snatch the rug out from under you. And so I went from being an employee to being an entrepreneur and having my own business because of the skills that I developed. And this is that kind of time. I was listening to my sister Sharon, and she had been laid off from one job where they told her in order for her to get her severance pay that she had to train her replacement. Now think about that. Let's say you're going through a divorce with somebody, and they ask you to train the wife how, the soon will be wife, what you like for dinner. You get the point that I'm making up here. And so when you look at that, Now, even though that happened to my sister, guess what? She's looking for another job, another job. And I said, Sharon, listen, whatever you were earning there is only a tip of the iceberg of what you are worth. There's nothing wrong with looking for another job and doing what you need to do until you get to do what you want to do, but have a two-pronged attack. Look for a job and find and look for and explore ways in which you can use your talents, abilities, and skills for yourself to create the kind of life that you want, to move out of now where you were once earning over $60,000 to $70,000 a year, and then you find another job and they pay you half that amount, $30,000. Look for a way in which you can work out of that, and you can now earn, if you earn $70,000 a year on the job, you were worth at least 4 times that amount in order to justify paying you that amount. So bet on you. And I'm saying to you, bet on you. Break the spell that even though you have not been trained, none of us really, to be entrepreneurs, to think, to be creative, to be innovators, this is the time that you have to bet on you. This is the time that you have to invest in you. This is the time that wherever you're working, that you want to make yourself indispensable. So when they start laying people off, they have to think twice about laying you off, because you're doing so many things. They will have to bring on 2 or 3 people, 2 or 3 more people to replace you. And I've seen that happen. When they fired me, they had to bring on 3 people to take on all that I was doing. And I had another friend who they laid her off, and when they started looking at all the things that she did, they had to bring in 3 people to replace her. And guess what? The skill set, the experience, the achievement that she now developed, that gave her the confidence to create something that's hers. Now the long hours are being invested in herself and in her dream. See, that's where you want to go from. You want to live from a place of power. And things are happening rapidly. And just in the last 3 days, some of the major corporations have laid off people. I'm talking about corporations that have been around for years, have laid off thousands of employees, and it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. And so when you think about yourself and about your goals and about your dreams, you've got to ask yourself a question: what if? If you're working, what if? If you got laid off, what is it that you're going to do? How long will you be laid off before it affects your quality of life? When you think about yourself and think about what it is you want to do, when you ask that, what if you got sick? What if you were at a stop sign and somebody didn't pay any attention and ran in back of you, and you suffered a major physical injury? How will you handle that? And so as you look at yourself and look at your goals and dreams, it's better to be prepared for the catastrophes of life, things that are going to happen that you can anticipate. And they're going to happen. They're going to happen to you, or they're going to happen to somebody that you care about. And you want to be able to do more than just pray for them. My nephew, James Brown, he has lost his sight and he's losing his hearing. They said, and it's a genetic illness. And so now when I talk to my brother, I can do more than just say, let us pray. I can help him, because when you are 37, 38 years of age and you all of a sudden lose your sight, and you lose your job and you can't drive your car anymore, and there you are in a city by yourself. You're not married, you don't have kids, and then your hearing is going, and that becomes compromised. That's challenging. That's depressing, to say the least. And so to have family that can come to your aid, yes, and there's nothing wrong with prayer, and I believe in the power of prayer. But I also believe in what Mary McLeod Bethune said. She said, pray as if everything depends upon God, and work as if everything depends upon you. I have a friend who has the gift of speaking, and she's been laid off, and she's spending all her time looking for a job. I said, you got a story. She said, but I don't know how to make money with my story. I said, I didn't either, but I didn't let that stop me. You could learn. And I said, just look at you. You're looking at me. You knew me before I started speaking. And you have more education and forgot more things than I will ever know. You an MBA. And here you are telling me what you can't do. You don't know enough about yourself to say that to me. And for you to have the unmitigated gall to look me in the eyes and say, I would like to do what you're doing, but I'm just waiting for God to give me a sign. He's already given you a sign. You're unemployed. Hello, you're unemployed. Stevie Wonder can see this one. There's no guessing game here in life. When you have outgrown a situation, you don't have the courage and the insight to realize that is a blessing for you. Some things happen to you, and some things happen for you. You decide that it has happened for you, and now you get to do what it is you were called to do, that you were chosen to do. This thing called life is serious. Serious. James, my nephew, woke up blind out of nowhere. Let me share something with you. You woke up in your right mind. That's a blessing. People complain, oh boy, it's raining outside. I call it liquid sunshine. If you can go to the bathroom by yourself and on yourself, it's a wonderful day. It's a wonderful day. It's a great day. Every day is a great day. If you don't believe it, try missing one. And so when you bet on you, when you start thinking about what do I want to do with the rest of my life, when you start thinking about what is it that I would do if I knew I only had 6 months to live? What will I stop doing? And what will I do that I enjoy, that I love, that's me? And who will I stop communicating with? And who will I spend more time with? Oh, you need to ask that question and be about the business of doing that, because for all you know, this could be it. And what I'm realizing and what I'm focusing on in my own life is being more mindful of choices that I'm making. And not just because I spent time looking for my glasses and I had them on my head, not just because I was talking to my son Calvin and he asked me, what is that noise that you're making the last 20 minutes? I said, Calvin, you got too much dip on your chip. I'm looking for my phone. He said, Dad, you're on your phone. Oh, oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, my God. All right. Wow. Hey, stuff happens. And as we look at ourselves, spending the time to develop ourselves, spending the time to get to know you, spending the time to experiment with life and exploring the possibilities, spending the time to create a life of adventure. Helen Keller said, and she was deaf and blind, life is either a daring adventure or it's boring. Most people are living a boring life, a boring, predictable life, that when they go, when they die, there will be no more conversations about them after 2 weeks have passed. And I submit to you that you were created on purpose, with a purpose, for a purpose, whether you realize it or not, whether you've taken the time for self-reflection and ask some questions. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth thee. You were chosen. You were created on purpose, for a purpose, with a purpose in you. But most of us get so caught up in the culture that we're in, we think that we're just here to work and pay bills, and then one day you retire and you sit around and you watch television and you go to a few parties and you have some family reunions and you talk to your closest friends about your favorite television programs, and then you die. Stressed out of your mind, trying to rob Peter to pay Paul. No. There's a difference between surviving and living. There's a difference. How come that you might have life and that you might have it more abundantly? It's the time. Your former years, your latter years will be better than your former years. Why? Because if you spend time learning and growing and stretching and upgrading your relationships, the older you get, the better things will get for you. They're going to be better for you. Now, you're going to go through some stuff. Be aware of that. Between the ages of 40 and 60, all hell breaks loose. Things happen to you between 40 and 60, and things happen to people you care about. I'm telling you what I know. And if you make it through 60, it doesn't mean that it's over, but new levels, new devils. I'm telling you. I'm telling you what I know. And so you have to ask yourself, and you must have, what's your strategy for being here? What game plan do you have if you take a hit that will allow you to accommodate that hit? He looked at me and said, you have cancer. Nobody wants to hear that. 3 words, most feared words in 7 different languages. Then they came back and said, you have not just cancer, 4th stage cancer. 4th stage. Now, to most people, that conversation would be, oh my God, I'm terminal, I'm out of here. See, I don't think the doctor should tell patients they're terminally ill. What they should say is that my ability to help you has terminated. And so as you look at yourself, stuff's going to happen to you or people you care about, or people that you care about. And as I was looking through the calls on my phone and names of various people that are out of here, that are gone, I say, wow. You know, it's shocking when you call someone and they say, oh, you didn't hear? No, hear what? Oh, she's gone. She's gone. It's shocking. And so we know that we are born to die. We know that. We know that we have an expiration date. No one dies unexpectedly. Everybody's going to go somewhere or another. And so living on purpose and maximizing your time here, and ask the question, what does the next greatest version of myself, what does that look like? What is it that I need to do to continue to live a healthy, happy, prosperous life? What area of my life that I need to make a radical change? I looked at myself the other day and I was repulsed. I was repulsed. My sister Margaret, they called me a fat pig. And for the first time, I saw it. I don't know how I missed it. I saw it. I remember one time talking to Marvin Winan, and he said one day he got out of the shower and he glanced in his peripheral vision, and it looked like two people were getting out. And he made a decision to do something about it. And he maintained that commitment to himself in great shape. That was years ago, and he still is in great shape today. And so I reflected on that for a few days. I just sat in a chair, looked at my stomach like I was 9 months pregnant and the water broke, and at any time I could deliver. I cried. I felt bad. I got angry. How did this happen? Oh, well, they inject me with steroids. Yeah, right. Oh, okay. So the steroids push food in your mouth that you shouldn't be eating, and you know it. The steroids, so it makes you a little slow, you're weak, takes all the testosterone out of your body. However, the things you can do, you aren't doing. So are you surprised? Are you surprised? Wow. Isn't that interesting? And so, choose ye this day whom you shall serve. The highest that is in you or the lowest that is in you. Choose to activate discipline in your life. Choose to activate commitment in some area of your life that does not represent the highest that is in you. Choose to activate a hunger to be healthy. Choose to activate the fight in you. Fight a good fight. That I'm not going out like this. That I deserve more out of myself. Choose life. If I eat something now, I ask myself the question, does this lead to health and energy and fitness, or obesity, disease, and an early death? Every day we have a choice. I love the quote, wherever you find yourself at some point in time, you made an appointment to be there. I admire Kareem Ellis. I mean, I really want to start, I want to create a Kareem Ellis grid or vetting process, or just like Stacy, because these are two individuals. I admire them and the standard they have for themselves. And they don't just come to learn from me, but I'm learning from them. And they serve, they give. I remember leaving Columbus, Ohio, and going to Chicago and work under Dr. Johnny Coleman to learn from her, to study her communication style and her leadership style, to serve her. And that experience, it exposed me to a larger audience in Chicago that I didn't have in Columbus, Ohio. And it made a dramatic difference in my life, being able to go through the training of the Universal Foundation for Better Living. And the people I got a chance to meet and be around. Harold Washington, the former mayor of Chicago. What a charismatic guy he was. Reverend Ike, you can't lose with the stuff I use. What a fascinating character he was. So many. Nancy Wilson, so many. And so as you think about yourself right now, and things are changing, and you see it, don't worry about what's going on in the White House. That craziness will be going on. Don't worry about that. Worry about what's going on in your house. What do you control? What do you control? What can you do to move your life closer to the life that you deserve to live? And if you're still breathing, God is not through with you yet. If you can hear me, he's not through with you yet. Even if you're confined to a wheelchair, he's not through with you yet. That's why Jose Flores says, don't let your challenge become your standard. He's a quadriplegic. He said that's not his standard. He's living a life motivating and inspiring people all across the country. And soon he'll be traveling around the world in a wheelchair, inspiring people. Lost his ability to walk, use his arms. He wasn't born like that. But he's not allowing that to put him in a funk and be depressed and think about taking his life. Your life has value. You listen to me because what I'm saying is already in you. You know it already. And there are times we need to be reminded of what we already know. I found a letter that my mentor, Mike Williams, wrote me about 8 years ago, and I got it. I read it then, but I was at a different level of awareness, a different level of consciousness. But because of what I've gone through and what I've grown through, I got it today. And I just thank God. He had no idea when I left a message on his phone with my voice cracking and broken. Thank you, Mike. A voice of gratitude. He had no idea. I finally got it. I saw it. It's like you go see a movie and you see it a second time or a third time, and you see things that you didn't see the first time or the second time because of your level of awareness and what you've gone through and your life being in a different place. Now it makes sense. Things Mama said to me. She said to me that I forgot. And then something happened that reminded me, oh boy, Mama said there'll be days like this. There'll be days like this. You have something special. I don't know you, can't see you. You can't see me. You have something special. I know that based upon my own experience. You're God's masterpiece because you're a piece of the master. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Stacy, O.D. Hayes.
O.D. Hayes, 75 years, kicking down doors, changing lives, and making a difference. I tell you, Mr. Brown, it gets sweeter and sweeter the more I hear it. Thank you for the word that you have given us today to remind us, like you said. Sometimes we need to be reminded of the things that we know, and you gave us quite a bit tonight, and we treasure and thank you for not only the inspiration, but the way in which you have chosen to live a life of service through your words and through your inspiration and through your determination to make sure that everyone you come in contact with is forever changed for the better as a result of your interaction. So thank you, Mr. Brown. Happy birthday again. 75 years, that's nothing to sneeze at. That is quite an accomplishment. So we are grateful that we've been blessed to be able to be a part of your world.
And the best is yet to come. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
So thank you so much again for being here. Enjoy the rest of your night. Have an awesome week and make it an even better life. Bye for now. This is Dr. Stacey signing off.